Have you ever done this? You set your alarm for 5 a.m., not casually, not by accident. You set it with intention. You told yourself, tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow, I'll wake up early. Tomorrow, I'll start changing my life. The alarm rings. Your hand reaches for the phone without thinking. Snooze. 10 minutes pass. Then another 10. Then suddenly, it's 8 a.m. And in that moment, a familiar feeling hits your chest. Guilt. Disappointment. That quiet voice saying, "Here we go again." You get up late, rush through the day, and promise yourself the same lie. I'll do it tomorrow. Maybe you've read books about successful people waking up early. Maybe you've watched videos about the 5 a.m. routine. Maybe you've tried it once, twice, maybe a dozen times. And every time, you fall back into the same cycle. You say, "I'm not a morning person." You say, "I need more sleep." You say, "I'll change when life slows down." But what if the problem isn't you? What if the problem is when you're trying to change? What if I told you that the first hour of your day quietly decides the direction of your entire life? And what if one ordinary man, no degree, no money, no connections, proved that your destiny can change before the sun rises? This is not a motivational quote. This is a story. And if you listen carefully, it might change the way you wake up forever. A life that felt like a dead end. Thomas was 32 years old, and by every visible measure, he was failing. He lived in a small industrial town where factories never slept. The streets smelled of oil and metal. The sky was often gray. Thomas worked as a night security guard at a textile warehouse. Every evening at 8 p.m., he checked in at the gate. Every morning at 6 a.m., he checked out. 12 hours of walking, watching cameras, staying alert while the rest of the world slept. He earned just enough to survive. His apartment was a single room, a thin mattress on the floor, a broken fan that pushed warm air around, one light bulb that flickered when electricity weakened. His shoes had holes. His clothes were worn thin. But none of that hurt as much as the feeling that his life was stuck on repeat. Every morning, as he walked home while the sun rose, Thomas passed quiet houses. Through the windows, he saw families eating breakfast, children tying shoes, men putting on clean shirts, preparing for office jobs. And a question echoed in his mind every single day. Is this all my life will ever be? He didn't feel lazy. He didn't feel irresponsible. He felt trapped, working hard, but going nowhere. Thomas had tried. He applied for better jobs. But without a university degree, doors stayed closed. He wanted to learn new skills. But after working all night, his body collapsed into sleep the moment he reached home. He slept from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. While the world moved forward, he was unconscious. Once a week, his mother called from the countryside. "My son," she asked gently, "when will your life get better?" Thomas always answered with forced optimism. "Soon, Mama. I'm working on it." But when the call ended, the truth remained. He didn't know how. The hardest realization was this: Thomas wasn't afraid of hard work. He was already working hard. What scared him was that hard work alone wasn't enough. He was giving his energy to survival, not progress. And every morning, collapsing into bed while others began their day, he felt like he was living life backward. The phone call that changed everything. One cold Tuesday morning in November, just as Thomas finished his shift, his phone rang. It was his sister. Her voice shook. "Thomas, you need to come home. Mama collapsed. She's in the clinic." His heart dropped. He didn't even change clothes. He took the first bus out of town. The ride lasted 3 hours, but time felt frozen. At the rural clinic, his mother lay on a narrow bed. Her face looked smaller, older. The doctor explained calmly. Exhaustion, stress, poor nutrition. "She needs rest," he said, "and proper care. Care that cost money Thomas didn't have." His mother held his hand, squeezing weakly. "My son," she whispered, "I don't have much time left." Then she said words that cut deeper than anything he had ever heard. "Please, don't waste your life like I wasted mine. Find a way." Thomas couldn't speak. After she fell asleep, he sat alone beside her bed, staring at her hands. Hands that had worked in fields for decades. Hands that gave everything and received nothing. And suddenly, Thomas saw his future if nothing changed. Something inside him broke. Not into sadness, into fire. 5 a.m., the moment of decision. Thomas stepped outside the clinic. The sky was still dark. It was 5 a.m. The village was silent, but not empty. A few farmers were already walking toward the fields. Birds began to stir. The air felt different, clean, alive. Standing there, surrounded by quiet effort, Thomas felt a realization hit him. Life was already moving forward. He just wasn't part of it yet. He whispered to himself, "No more. I don't care how hard it is. I don't care how long it takes. I will change." He didn't know how yet, but for the first time, he had made a decision, not a wish. The stranger on the bus. On the bus back to town, Thomas noticed a man sitting across from him, well-dressed, calm, reading a book. Thomas recognized him immediately. Mr. Chen, a respected businessman who owned several shops. What shocked Thomas wasn't the man. It was the time. It was barely 6 a.m. A successful man, on a regular bus. At dawn, Thomas hesitated, then spoke. "Excuse me, sir. May I ask something?" Mr. Chen smiled. "Of course. Why are you traveling so early?" Mr. Chen closed his book. "I wake up at 4:30 every morning," he said. "This is when I read, think, and plan before the world interrupts me." Thomas frowned. "But don't you need sleep?" Mr. Chen chuckled. "I sleep at 9 p.m., 7.5 hours. Enough." Then he studied Thomas's tired face. "You work nights?" "Yes." "And you sleep during the day?" "Yes." Mr. Chen nodded slowly. "That explains everything." Thomas felt exposed. Mr. Chen leaned forward. "You are awake when the world sleeps, and asleep when opportunity works. No wonder you feel stuck." Then he said something Thomas would never forget. The hours between 5 and 7 a.m. are not normal hours. They are power hours. The secret of the morning. Mr. Chen continued. "These hours changed my life 30 years ago. When the world is quiet, your mind is strongest. No calls, no distractions, no excuses." Thomas felt something dangerous rise inside him. Hope. "But how?" he asked. "I work until 6 a.m. I need sleep." "Then adjust your sleep," Mr. Chen replied calmly. "Sleep when you get home. Wake up earlier. Live when others are awake. He handed Thomas a card with his number. If you are serious, call me. But only if you're ready to do what most people won't. The system that builds a life. The next day, Thomas made a choice that scared him. He changed his routine. And at a small cafe, Mr. Chen explained the system. Your life, he said, is like a house. Right now, it has no foundation. He wrote numbers on a page. 2 hours per day, 14 hours per week, 730 hours per year. That's the equivalent of 3 extra months of life every year. Then the structure. Hour 1. Build skills. Learn something that increases your value. Hour 2. Build yourself. Body, mind, discipline. 3 rules. 1. Wake up at 5 a.m. every day. 2. Sleep by 9 p.m. 3. Push through the first 21 days. Most people quit because discomfort scares them, Mr. Chen said. Success belongs to those who show up anyway. The painful beginning. The first week was brutal. Thomas woke up exhausted. His mind screamed for sleep. At 5 a.m., he studied Excel tutorials. At 6 a.m., he walked alone through silent streets. No one praised him. No one noticed. But something was happening. By day 20, his body adapted. By day 30, his confidence changed. By day 60, he was different. The breakthrough. In the 3rd month, Thomas applied what he learned. He built a simple system at work. Management noticed. On day 87, he was offered a new role. Day shift. Double the salary. A life unlocked by 2 quiet hours. The real lesson. 1 year later, Thomas still woke at 5 a.m. Not because he had to, because that's where his power lived. And here's the truth. Your life doesn't change in big dramatic moments. It changes in small daily decisions. Tomorrow morning at 5 a.m., the world will be silent, and your future will be waiting. The question is simple. Will you wake up?